Hello and welcome. So, I am actually glad to be doing this webinar for you. And so, we are going to get started. And so, this webinar is 90 days to better personal credit. Now, if you are watching this webinar, you must be someone who is on my email communication list. As well as on my text communication list. I have wanted to do this private webinar just for a lot of you because a lot of you all have reached out to me and have expressed to me your need and urgency to be able to rebuild and repair your credit. And so I decided to do this webinar for you. My plan for 2016 is that I only plan to do two free webinars. And so this is the first one. The next one will not be until later this year. So I hope you have a pen and paper so you will be able to take a lot of notes. So you will have a game plan on what to do for the next 90 days. So the reason why I decided to say 90 days to better credit is because really it takes at least a minimum of 90 days. Now, why is that? It's because you need at least 30 to 35 days for any type of dispute to come back to you. And that could be to the credit bureaus, to a debt collector, to an original creditor, whoever you are disputing to. Legally, they have 30 to 35 days to respond back to you. And so if you are really serious about rebuilding your credit, you should really have a game plan and a timeline before you. We are already almost at the end of the first quarter of 2016. So if you were one of those individuals who said, hey, I'm going to, empower myself, economically, I'm going to get my credit straight, I'm going to be able to eliminate debt, and now here we are looking at almost at the end of February, and you still have not did anything different, then you really need a plan and a strategy to help you, and that's why I decided to do this webinar. So let's get started. So now, who am I and why should you listen? I want to first start off with saying that I speak from a place just where you are possibly right now experiencing. And that could be someone who suffered from bad credit, someone who was fearful of debt collectors, and someone who was actually running from debt collectors. And the reason why I was doing a lot of those things and a lot of what you all may be doing now is because I really didn't know better. And you may be the same way. You just don't know better. You don't know that there are actually federal and state laws that could protect you. And so what happens is that an individual like yourself, you run scared. And what happens is that when we run scared, we do nothing. We kind of just stand still. So, I did do that. But then once I did have someone who was a debt collector who violated me, what was that violation? Well, that debt collector put a levy against my bank account and took over $2,000 from me. And so, later finding out that legally, that debt collector didn't even have the right to do that. But because I didn't know my rights and I didn't know the law, they were able to get away with it. And so that is who I am, someone who has been through it and someone who has now gone through the storm. And now I am helping others to be able to empower themselves financially so the same thing does not happen to you. So like I said, once harassed by debt collectors, became knowledgeable of the law. And then once I did that, I packaged that information and put it into a book that a lot of you all may know, which is called Jumpstart Your Credit, How to Settle and Negotiate Your Debts in 10 Steps. It became an Amazon best-selling book in 2014. And so I still, this book is still impacting lives. Now, a lot of people may wonder, well, Lorraine, how is your book different from other books? And like I explained to people, I talk from the place of a consumer who is trying to, deal with debt collectors. Most credit books out there are going to just pretty much help you with that in terms of rebuilding your credit, but they don't give you the other piece in terms of the debt collector, because most people just want peace of mind. Some people just want to kill the noise. You know, they don't want a debt collector calling their house, their neighbor's house, their job, calling on their cell phone. They just want peace of mind, and that's where my book it's different from other books because it speaks from that standpoint. Those individuals who have purchased my book, they are having those problems. They are the individuals who are, you know, scared and don't know that they have rights and that they don't have to run from debt collectors. So now that I'm going, you know, to that, I'm going to go to the next slide. So now before I get started, now let me share with you all. This is going to be a pretty much, I won't say a long webinar, but it's going to really get straight to the point. Because like I said in the beginning, this is 90 days for you to get to better credit. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to share with you 4 strategies that you need to do right now. If today is February the 19th, you may be watching this later on, and it may not be February the 19th, but understand that give yourself a 90-day game plan. So if it's February, we got March, April, May. May 19th of this year, you could possibly be in a different situation if you put and sit down and put these strategies in place. Now, the first strategy, what a lot of people don't know, whenever they are deciding to wear this big hat to be able to rebuild their credit, is that they really don't know where they're at. All they know is that they're overwhelmed. And being overwhelmed it does not mean you know where you are. Saying that, oh, I know my credit is bad. Oh, I know I have creditors calling my house. Oh, I know I got a lot of bills coming to my house does not mean that you know where you are. Knowing where you are is to look that situation in the face. And that is the hardest part. Most people do not want to do strategy 1, and then they wonder why they're not getting any results. They don't want to sit down and say, where are they currently? Now, what you want to do if you want to really figure out where you are is that the first thing you want to do is to get your credit report. That's right. It's really that simple. Get your credit report. Examine your credit report. Now, if you don't know what you're looking at, understand your credit report is broken up into different areas. First, you have your personal information. Look at that. Is it correct? Do you have old addresses that still appear on your credit report? Well, let me share with you, ladies and gentlemen, that information can be taken off your report. Now, from there, you may have the public records section. Now, let me just note, I am speaking from the standpoint that you are looking at the actual report, the report that came from the 3 bureaus, which is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. I am not talking about those 3-in-1 reports that you can get from a third party. Are those reports bad? I'm not going to say they are, but what I am going to tell you is that they are limited scope reports. One, they're only going to give you a limited scope of your personal and credit information. Another thing is what it can do is that if you're not familiar with looking at credit reports, you are going to confuse yourself because you are going to look at that report and then you're going to start disputing things. And then when you get the real credit report in the mail, you can't make sense of it because that one doesn't look like the one that you've been examining. So that's why I always speak from the place of order your reports from the credit bureau so you can get an idea of what those reports look like. There's no need of looking at a report for 30 days, which is one of those 3-in-1 third-party reports, getting familiar with it because you've looked at it for 30 days, and then now that your dispute comes back, you now get a report given to you because the credit bureaus legally have to give you a report because you disputed And then now you don't know what you're looking at. So now you're totally confused. And now you have delayed your 90-day game plan because you're confused now. So that is why I say that my method works. But unfortunately, what happens is many people want to go against the grain. So going back to where are you now? Order your credit reports. If you go to my book on page 4, I tell you where you can order your free report from. I also have the phone numbers and addresses of the credit bureaus. So that is where you want to start. So going back to you looking at the report, they're pretty much all very similar. Personal information, public records, then it will have um, information that is not reporting negatively or in an adverse situation. And then from there, you may have all the adverse and negative information. And also under the public record area, you may even have the accounts that are beginning to be late. Now, in my book, when I say, I go into where are your debts? Are your debts going to be in the position of possibly being late? Are they past due? I break it up into current, past due, and are they charged off? You need to know that. You need to know that if you are truly on the path to wanting to rebuild your credit. Because the debts that are current, okay, you don't need to bother with those. All you need to do is continue, making sure they're current, either paying more than the minimum or paying the minimum. But what you want to do is not let them be late. The second thing, the past due. Is there something that you can do? Can you possibly call that credit and work something out? Lower the interest rate, lower the payment, do something that can help you. And then you have the charge off accounts. These are the accounts that I always tell people to start with. Why? Because they're the easiest ones to be able to dispute. So now that is where you want to start. Where are you now? The next slide is, as I mentioned, for example, what is my credit report? First you want to know, what is my credit score? Now, going back to when I said in page 4 of my book, I outline where you can get your personal credit information. Keep in mind, most of the time, if you have not gotten your free report for the year, you are allowed to get one free copy. But now if you want your score, that is a whole different dynamic. You will have to pay. Scores usually range anywhere from, I think, $7 to about $15. Pay the money so you know where you're at, because that is part of strategy number 1. What is my score? What is on my credit report? And then as I broke it out to you, what kind of derogatory information do I have? Is it past due information? Is it charged off information? Is it public records? Is it car repossessions? Is it past due student loans? Is it defaulted student loans? You need to know. Like I said, just saying I know my credit is bad is not an example of you know where you're at. That is not an example of what I'm sharing with you now. Now, strategy 2. The reason why I want to go over this now is because it's tax time. Most people who have made that commitment in the beginning of the year that they're going to get out of debt is because their strategy is to now take their tax refund and pay this off. Now, I want to say this cautiously, as well as I wanted to put a disclaimer out here. I am not here to advocate for you to not pay your debts. But one thing that you will know about me is that I have a certain strategy on how debt should be paid off. If you are not familiar with the information I share, is that I use heavily the debt validation strategy. I use myself as an example. Many of you all have heard my story of a debt that I've had that's pretty much 20 years old. Every year around this time, I get some type of settlement offer from this debt that I accumulated at 17. Now, once again, didn't know the law. Little did I know that really that creditor could not even collect on that debt because I was not of age. I was under the age of 18. So they really didn't have the legal capacity, or should I say even a responsibility, to even come after me. But now that the statute of limitations is over, I don't pretty much worry about it. But let me just say this, that debt has not been paid. And so they still come around. It's been sold from one debt collector to the other. It kind of just bounces around. Now, let me be very transparent. The debt is under $50. It's nothing for me. Pull some cash out of my hand and boom, pay it off. But now, why would I want to do that? The reason why I don't want to do that is because I legally know that in the state of New Jersey where I'm at, a debt collector can only collect on a debt for 6 years. That's it. After that, they legally can't collect on it. It's no longer can be reported onto my credit reports for 7 years. Didn't I just say that this debt is over 20 years old? If I go paying that debt just because a letter came in the mail, I have now awoken the sleeping giant. What does that mean? Now that debt collector or that creditor can now have the legal capacity and the authority to be able to insert it onto my credit report. Why would I want to do that? Now, if you don't know this, you having a trade line inserted onto your credit report from a debt collector saying that you paid a debt is not going to help you. So that is what I'm trying to tell you. If that your goal is to increase your credit score, paying off debts to just pay them, a lot of times people don't even know what they're paying. All they're doing is paying letters that are coming in the mail. They have not even matched what's in the mail to their credit report. All they're doing is just paying stuff, just paying with the hope that, oh, I just hope that my credit score, increases. And let me share with you, ladies and gentlemen, I did that same mistake too. I'm very transparent. I don't speak from a place of theory. I'm speaking from a place of I made the mistakes with I got some money. I'm just going to pay my debts off and hoping that my credit score increased. And that is not what is going to happen. There's a strategy that you have to follow in order to pay your debts off. So I just want to say, if your strategy this tax time, hopefully you have not even did this because we're in February. I know a lot of people may have already got their refund. If you have already paid your debt off with your tax refund without you doing any type of cross-referencing from the letters that have came in the mail to what's on your credit report, you may have made a bad mistake. And so let me share this with you. Many of you all are on my email communications list, and many of you may have seen the email that I have put out there saying that I had someone who shared with me about how a debt collector levied a lady's account and took pretty much her whole paycheck. She was only left with about $19 in her account. When someone shared that with me, they said, wow, Lorraine, that person should have known or should have came across your information because they probably legally didn't even have the authority to collect on it. And that is right. So you just want to be very cautious if you are planning on doing the tax refund payoff strategy. If you are using it, I will say this cautiously, and I really don't have enough time to go into it. Hopefully you have negotiated something to work in your favor. You just putting out there that you're going to pay things off and you have not disputed if trade line's going to get deleted or anything, you could pretty much be setting yourself, back a few steps. The next thing is strategy 3 is pretty obvious. Face your debt collectors. Many people don't want to do this is because they don't know the law. If you follow me from some time, you know that I always say face your debt collectors because they have no power. They only have power when you don't know the law. And so let me share what this cost. And I say this with another disclaimer. If you have not put in motion any of the information that I've shared, you have not, and you don't have a fully understanding of it. And right now you are going through some type of legal situation with a debt collector. Then a lot of times, the information that I'm going to share with you is not going to help you. Because why? It's because you haven't did the steps first. And there are steps that I've outlined many of times, people who have worked with me, people who have hired me, where I tell them, okay, this is what you're going to do. Now, one, what is this going to do? It's going to get rid of the debt collector. Two, what is it going to do? It's going to allow you to have leverage to dispute with the credit bureaus. And three, it is now going to help you fight a debt collector in the event you need to go to court. This I want to share with you is something that credit repair companies will not share with you and will not help you. Now, this is not to bash credit repair companies. It's really up to you what it is that you want to do. Many people have asked me, Maria, how is it that your information is different than credit repair companies? I am not a credit repair company. What I do is I provide financial information to empower you economically and financially. And I know that credit and debt are two of the main things that hold people back financially. So what I do is I provide you with education. People who are interested with working with me, who want to learn from me, or people who want to know this themselves. They're not interested in giving a credit repair company some money and said, hey, fix this problem for me. Because statistics will show, and credit repair companies will not share this with you, that individuals who go to credit repair companies who've had their credit, increase, because like I said, many of them, they will do their job, they will increase your credit score. But what happens is that you will be put in a year or 2 years from now, or even 9 months from the time that your score has gotten increased. What's going to happen is that you're going to fall into the same trap. And why is that? Is because many credit repair companies, when they're telling you to rebuild your credit, they're sharing with you resources that can really jam you up. Anybody who's worked with me, I've given them strategies on how they can rebuild your credit, and many of those individuals have used it, and it didn't come from them going out to third parties to have to increase their credit score. But I kind of got off on a tangent, but I just want to say strategy 3 about face your debt collectors. The debt validation strategy is your most strongest strategy. If you do not know how the debt validation strategy works, if you don't know how it can help you, what I would say is please contact me and I will show you and share with you how it can work. My last and final strategy, like I said, I'm going to kind of go for, the juggler with this webinar, is dispute to get a strategy for dispute to get your credit increased. What do I mean about that? In order for you to increase your credit score, you're going to have to dispute some items off of your credit report. Ladies and gentlemen, you can sit here. Many of you all have did that. You've read the books, you read the emails, you listen to the webinars, but you're doing nothing. You're not putting any disputes in place. You may be even on information overload. But what I'm going to say to you is this: if you don't want to invest in yourself to say, okay, I'm a little confused with what to do, take the information that I've shared with you and at least work to make small steps. Because in order for your credit score to increase, you have to dispute things. That's just the name of the game. There's no magic to it. Most people think that there are magic letters. Let me share with you the biggest mistake that you can do on your 90-day game plan is to be distracted and thinking that, oh, this person has an easier way and this person has an easier way. Let me tell you this, and no one will share this with you. Everyone will say they know the secret. Credit repair companies will tell you they know the secret. The secret is disputing, to keep disputing and dispute and dispute. That is the name of the game. If you want to get your credit score increased, you have to dispute. Why? Because in order for your score to be increased, you need trade lines deleted. So now that I've shared with you all that information, like I said, where are you now? Going back to what I said, meaning in the beginning, where are you now? What's next? Are you overwhelmed? Most of you all who are watching this webinar, like I said, if you are now in a place where you've read my you've read my blog posts, read my emails, listened to webinars, may have purchased the book, and you still have not did something, something is wrong. It may be because you are overwhelmed, and there's nothing wrong with that, because a lot of times it is a lot of information. You know, when I started with my journey back in the 90s, even though there was internet, because this was the late 90s, or should I say mid 90s, there was not an abundance of information. So the information was very limited. And what happens is that I made a lot of mistakes. If I had had the opportunity to be able to plug into information to eliminate me being overwhelmed, I would have gotten results faster. But what happens is that, like many of you all, you know, you have the information, but you're really not sure how to apply it to your situation. And so I am here. I'm here to help. And now I'm going to go into with you how I can help you. Because if you truly want to say, it's February the 19th, I got a 90-day game plan, which is May the 19th, I need to do something different, then this is what I'm going to share with you. I have created the Jumpstart Credit Rebuilding System. That's right, it's a system. It's a system of different steps and strategies that I am going to show you and share with you how you can repair and rebuild your credit. Let me just say this, and I'm going to be very transparent. This is only for certain people. If you are someone who wants someone to do it for them, I am not your person. Like I said, I have nothing against credit repair companies. I even have individuals that I can refer you to, and you know that that is what you want. You're not someone who wants to, you know, be financially empowered. You do not want to learn this information. You kind of just want to hand it off to someone, pay them their fee, and hope that your credit score gets increased. If that is what you want, then I can tell you right now, the information I'm sharing is not for you. There's nothing wrong with that. All I ask is that if you're looking for a credit repair company, contact me. I will share with you a reputable company that I recommend people to, and I'll be glad to send you their information. But going back to what it is that I do with my Jumpstart Credit Rebuilding System, it's for individuals who, like I said, who want to learn this for themselves. They are individuals who realize that they are at a place in life that they do not like where they're at. You know, they're tired of not being able to answer their phone, open their mail. They want to be financially empowered to make certain major purchases. That can be buying a home, buying a car. They just want to know that their credit and debt is managed or eliminated in some areas. And so these are the people that I'm looking to work with, because like I said, you're going to do the work. I'm going to share with you my system. I'm going to work with you, and then you're going to have to do the work. This does not mean, oh, you give the information to Lorelia and she does it for you. So that's why I really want to stress it's for certain individuals. So you need to know for yourself, what is it that you want? You want someone else to do it for you, or you want to be able to learn this information yourself? Because let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Information is something that people can never take from you. Once you learn this information, you will know what to do, because life happens. There are some times that things are going to happen in your life, whereas, you know, you may have a setback. And let me tell you this, in the 90s, once I came across this information, I was able to rebuild my credit and thrive financially. But like I said, life happens, and there were some setbacks that I had, and my credit score took a dive. But what did I do? I did the same thing. I had already knew the information. So I knew what it took for me to rebuild my credit. And so I applied that same information to be able to rebuild myself financially. So that is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. There's a difference with wanting to pass the buck to someone else and then wanting to say, I am going to face this situation myself and do something. So that's why I said I'm only looking to work with certain people. Everybody I'm not looking to work with. So now let me share with you how you're going to get clear, how you're going to get clarity. Like I said, you get the chance. Many of you all have reached out to me. You've all have wanted that one-on-one type of counseling and coaching. And so what I did is that I've created a program for you all to get that one-on-one interaction like you want. And I've created the financial inner circle. And so at the basic level, you're going to get the how-to videos on various credit and debt topics. Now, let me share with you and be very clear to those that are listening. This is not information that you're going to find on YouTube. I'm going to share with you that many people who have worked with me before, and I did those private seminar webinars online. There is a private, should I say, webinar service that I use, and so none of that information gets uploaded onto YouTube. So if you're thinking that you're going to find this information on YouTube, you're sadly mistaken. It will not be on YouTube. So like I said, how-to videos on various credit and debt topics. We also have a weekly webinar and where I discuss certain topics. Many of you all have seen those emails and you all have responded and say, hey, I want access to these emails. Let me share with you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the chance for you to get access to these webinars. Because as you see, many of you all are clicking the links and noticing that you all can't get access. And what happens is that you send me an email saying that how can I get access to that webinar. So this is your chance. We talk about many topics to help individuals to rebuild your credit. So jump starting this Sunday, that's right, this Sunday, I'm going to be going into the 90-day game plan, what you're going to need to do, the steps that it's going to take in order for you to do that. So what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do is throw a lot of information on Sunday night. What I'm going to do is help you to get clear on where it is that you want to get to in the next 90 days. Where do you see yourself? What type of credit score you currently have? What kind of credit score you currently want to get to in 90 days? So you get access to the replays of those. You don't have to worry about being on Sunday Night Live. You'll get a replay of it as well as the PDF transcripts. You also want to get the past libraries, all my MP3 audios. Many of those I sell for about $47, but I'm allowing you to now get them for free. I'm going to also be doing a lot of live events, and so as well as online webinars. They won't be free. So as you can see, those who are at the Financial Inner Circle basic level will get them for a 25% discount. Also, you have the ability to purchase the credit dispute software, because I'm going to be using that as part of my process and system on helping you to rebuild your credit in 90 days. So like I said, you get it at a discounted price. You don't get it for free, but you get it at a discounted price. And then, of course, you get a free copy of my best-selling book. And you get the actual physical book, not an email copy. Now, for those who say, you know what, Lorraine, I need a little more. I love that you are doing this, because, like I said, this is a group setting. But for those who need a little more, like I said, you're going to get everything in the goal. In the basic level. But let me share with you this. For those who say, you know what, I want a little more personal interaction, you're going to get a 30-minute face-to-face strategy session over the computer, me and you talking, no one else, where you get to answer any credit and debt questions that you may have. We're going to do this once a week, and like I said, it's a 30-minute session, me and you over the computer, and you get a copy of the MP4 for you to be able to take notes, discuss, or what have you. You're also going to get an exclusive access to any upcoming events that I have and webinars, and you're going to get it at a much higher discount which is at 40%, much higher than at the basic level, which was 25. You get it at the 40% discount, and then you also get this, you get a free copy of the credit dispute software. That's right. So now the investment is $97 per month. So let me share with this, and this is not noted onto this slide, is that whether you decide to invest in the basic or you decide to invest in the platinum, 2 months will need to be paid in advance before we proceed. So I just want to let you all know. And the reason why, I know you may be wondering, well, why 2 months, Lorelia? Well, one, many of you all have gotten your tax refund, so you might as well put it towards an investment that can help you economically. Two, what I've noticed is that, and this is just human nature, individuals who pay more in life, meaning that they know they have put some skin into it, they've paid for it, they're actually going to do something with it. So that is why a 2-month investment is what is needed, because it allows you to stay committed for 2 months, not know, oh, let me see how everything goes, and maybe if I can get that magic letter, I don't need to be in it for 30 days. All I need to be in it for is 2 weeks. So another reason why I'm doing this is because I'm phasing out, and that's right, I want you to hear this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm phasing out individuals who are not serious. Some people know they're hurting financially, but unfortunately they don't want to do anything. All they want to do is kind of like sit around and email people and kind of tell their sad story, hoping that someone will show them what needs to be done. Now, this is not to discredit anyone who is hurting financially, but let me share this with you, ladies and gentlemen. There's been times in my life where I've been hurting financially, and there have been times when I could not make the investments into myself. But what I had to do is, if that person was sharing with me information that could possibly help me, I devoured all their free information and I actually applied it. See, a lot of people are coming across my information and they're not even applying it. What they're looking for me to do is sitting on a phone and kind of tell them the same thing that I may have told you in a video or in an audio. But like I said, that is the reason why I put these groups together, these coaching clarity sessions together, because it is for serious individuals who really have a 90-day game plan in place. What's next? Next thing you're going to do is go to www.yourmoneymentor.com/inner circle. There you will learn more about these programs. There you can go ahead and make your investment. Once the investment is made, an email will be sent to you telling you what you need to do. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. How do you email me? By responding to any emails that you may have gotten from me in the past. And so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is what it's going to take for you to make some type of change with your personal credit in 90 days. It's to put a 90-day plan in place. I'm here to share with you the system that I created to help you. And so you just need to decide if this is something that you want to do. Because this is what I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, without me even meeting you, without me even knowing you, if you don't have something in place, which is a plan on how you're going to increase your credit score or rebuild your credit, it will never happen. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care how many softwares you purchase. I don't care how many YouTube videos you watch. If you have no plan in place, what's going to happen, and this is without me knowing you or meeting you, November 2016 is going to come and you're going to be in the same place. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I am glad to share this information with you. And so what I am going to be doing is signing off. So once again, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to see you in the Financial Inner Circle. Bye-bye.